What is up, everybody? So, in this episode, I wanted to go over uh, where to spend those gems, right? So, there's some wastefulness that can go on, and at least to my knowledge, I wanted to share with you what I have learned up to this point and kind of share my opinion on where to spend those gems. So, I've seen a couple of videos like this, and I was less than impressed. So, I think this is a good video to kind of go over on where you're at depending on, or what you want to spend your gems on depending on where you're at in the game. So let me just talk about beginners. If you are early in the game, treasure trove is always where it's at. And this is one thing that's in the other videos that they do have right, is that you want to get this thing maxed out as soon as possible. I'm maxed and I've got some extras, so my gems invested are 45k and I get a 92k payout, a little bit better than. So I'm almost, I'm making out over 100%. I'm making 105% on it, but the real winning formula is that I've done research and I have familiars that help me boost up the amount that I can invest. And every single month, I'm getting almost 50k out of that every 30 days, which is more than 1k per day, like I talked about in my last video. But definitely take those gems, invest them into getting the items necessary to build this up. And I'm going to quickly, because this is going to help me kind of switch gears for you. I'm going to talk about the buildings. So anytime you're building something, or research for that matter, also has it. Anytime you're building or researching something that requires that you buy archaic tombs or war tomes or crystal pickaxes, whatever it is that you need to build the particular building that you're doing, always buy it from within the object that you're doing it. So here it says that I need these, and I can click here and I can buy them from here. And let me just give you an example of why you want to. These archaic tomes are 1,000 of them for 810k gems, which is expensive in and of itself. But if I was to go here and look at them in this gem mall, and I wanted to buy the same, did I pass it up? Here it is, archaic tomes. And so 900 for one. And so if I need 1,000, then it's going to cost me 900,000 instead of the 810,000 that it would have cost me from getting them within the actual research center, research facility. And same thing when you're doing buildings. I can't show you now because all my buildings are maxed out, so I don't have that option. But when you're early on, that's something you want to do. Go into your building, try and do the research or to do the build. And if it says you're short on them, buy them from within that option within the building, not from your gem mall. That's going to help you save your overall gems. And then when you're talking about also being a beginner, after you've got your treasure trove going, some people have talked about pack 4. I wouldn't quite go there yet. What I would do, just my own personal recommendation, my own personal preference, is to get these buildings built up for your familiars out here, and then go and get your familiars the research done that you need for pack 3. Use your gems necessary to get pack 3 research, and then use whatever you need necessary to actually build packs. So you can go in here and you can speed up your packed merging. Conveniently enough, I'm actually doing some pack 3s right now, but that's how you're going to get the gemming gremlin to get even more gems later. And so that's a really good use of your gems, because overall, the faster you get that gemming gremlin, he's going to give you 1,000 to 2,000 gems every other day, which equates to a minimum of 500 gems per day. So every day you don't have them, you're losing 500 gems. So after 10 days, that's 5,000 gems every 10 days minimum, and probably more likely you're losing out on more than that. Once that thing is maxed out, it's very worth your time. So anyway, that's a really good place to put gems, is into your pack 3, where you're going to get the gemming gremlin, and you're also going to get Trickstar, which goes into the labyrinth and turns into more gems. So that's a really good place to put your gems, is into the treasure trove early on, and into the familiar effort in getting those pack 3s with the research on top. And then if you're still early and you haven't gotten any packed 4s, it's definitely something I recommend. You can train troops with gems, which is something when you're a little bit more advanced that I'll recommend. So I'll cover that here in a second. But until you've got your T4, what you want to do is first get this academy up to level 25 if you haven't yet. Then you're going to need gyms to buy steel cuffs for the battle hall, or for the prison, and for the battle hall you'll need war tombs, and you'll need crystal pickaxes for your treasure trove like we talked about. You'll need something else for this building, and I can't remember what it is, but you're going to need items that cost gems for those buildings right there, for those 3 specific buildings: your prison, your war hall, and your altar will all need some special items, and that's a good place to spend your gems to get yourself up to academy level 25, and then you can spend gems getting research done to get to your T4 troops, your tier 4 troops. And then once you're at your tier 4 troops, then you can kind of consider yourself more of an advanced player. Now, once you're an advanced player, then you want to hold gems. So if you look out here, I have 490k gems. And with those, if I want to transfer to this spot and I am out of these relocators, it costs me 1,500 to target transfer to a specific spot. If I want a random, it only costs me 500. So it's pretty relatively inexpensive. But if you are a war castle like this and you want to go out there and you want to attack people, and you're constantly porting around and transferring around and and scouting people, and then, you know, finding your targets and porting over there and killing them, and then porting back to your hive, so that if you're rallied, people can protect you and people can see what's happening with your castle. So it's good to have it in the hive. Well, that's expensive. So I like to keep a nice reserve of gems no matter what. Even if I'm planning on spending a bunch of gems, I want to keep a huge reserve just so I can port around and transfer around. And that, you know, just as a little bit more of an advanced player, that's kind of something that you're going to run into, is unless you're buying a lot of packs that have energy and you're hunting a bunch of monsters that are giving you drops that are target relocators, or if you're buying packs that have target relocators in them, I mean, you're going to find yourself spending gems on that. So it's a really good thing to save up for and just have a nice reserve. Another thing to have a nice reserve for is if you go into, say, Guild Festival, and you're short on a task and your time is running out and you don't want to lose the points on that task. You can use gems to save your day in a lot of different cases, just depending on the specific task. But let's say even Guildfest is running out of time altogether, and one of those gem point quests opens up for you. You've got your answer for how to get up more points to meet your quota for your particular guild, if that's something you're running into. And building troops is also very nice. Let me backtrack. Before troops, I'm going to talk about the special events. There's special Guild Mall events where you can go up into your events tab here, and it'll say something along the lines of Guild Mall or Gem Mall or something like that, and you can go into it and they'll give you items that pretty much you can only otherwise use purchase packs to acquire. And so those are super, super nice when they roll around. And if you're a free-to-play player, save up. Never, ever, ever spend your gems. Let them get up to millions before you spend them, and wait for those events to come around. Because, like, if you want to advance your account and look somewhat like a paid player, those particular events usually give you the opportunity to do that. But it is expensive on gems, so you really want to save up for it and maximize your opportunity. But then, you know, let's go into the troops now. When we're talking troops, I'm not going to jump into my barracks here, but when you're talking troops, you can jump up quite a bit. And the difference between troops and research, so I find this funny, is that troops cost a ton of resources as you're building them, but take relatively little speed ups. And research is kind of different. It takes a ton of speed ups and relatively lower resources as compared to troops. So if you're massively building troops, or if you're massively doing research, that's kind of what I've run into. Is with troops, I run out of resources really fast, and with research, I run out of speed ups really fast. And so troops are if you have resources, right? You're going to need to have plenty of resources. I'm down on my food right now, but I've got plenty of other stuff. So I could take all of my gems and use what I've got up here and use all of my resources, and I can massively build up a bunch of troops. Depending, if you're talking T2s with 500k, I could probably build over 2 million T2s with that, especially considering my research on my upgrade military is done. So for T2, I have my cost reduced as much as you can, a 40% reduction in cost. So I could use a bunch of gems and get that done, and that's a pretty good use of them. But aside from that, to me, research is king, right? So if you've got your T4s, if you've got your Pack 3, if you have enough saved up like I do now, and you're kind of looking at it going, I don't care about the gym mall as much. I want to do something. I think troops are a good way to go. But more than that, I'm a big fan of putting every bit of any extra speed ups or anything that you can into your research to kind of move that along, because there's a lot of research to do, and almost all of it is beneficial to you in some shape, way, or form. So highly recommend that you save that up for the right events. Don't just go blowing it on every little tiny thing that you're doing throughout the game, and especially don't waste it on buildings. If you do go to buildings, one last thing I'll say is that you want to buy the speed ups rather than use the gems directly. So if you use the gems directly, like say I have my construction going on here, and I use 1,342, and that's to complete 21 hours minus the 40 minutes. So if I went in here and I found my 24-hour speed up, 1,500 versus, how much was it? Or no, not 1,500. That's 18 days. Well, in any case, I'm in the wrong thing. I'm like, wait, what? So 1,500 is almost on the money. 21 hours is too much because I bought a 24-hour, so I'm a little over on that. But I'm pretty positive, and I'll have to come back to this just to be 100% sure. But I'm pretty positive that when you spend all of your gems, it doesn't account for the free 40 minutes that you would otherwise be getting. So it might be beneficial to buy speed ups. But also the thing about speed ups is that the higher speed up you buy, then the cheaper it is cost per minute. You're paying like 5 gems for like almost 2 minutes there. And then up here, you're paying for a week, you're paying like 1 gem per minute basically. And the cost goes down the more that you buy. So if you can buy in bulk for what it's relevant for, do, because you're getting a benefit from buying the bigger size speed ups than the smaller size speed ups, and that kind of accounts for what you're spending with your research or your buildings or whatnot. So it's beneficial for you to save your gems by buying those types of speed ups out of the bag at a higher bulk rate. But that's it for this one. I will catch you guys on the next one. See ya.